Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Harry here, and today we're gonna talk about a nested loop. So I'm gonna make it more complex. So basically, I'm gonna use like more iterator. I'm gonna say like I, J, and K. So let's see how this work, and hopefully you guys will enjoy watching this video, right? So let's not waste our time. Let's get into the coding, right? So I will first declare our data. Uh, you know what I'm gonna do this time? I'm gonna make it more complex. So I'm gonna use list inside a list. So I'm gonna create a 3D list right now. Let me show you something, right? How we're gonna create a 3D list. So basically, I'm gonna define first two lists, right? I'm gonna define one more list. Then I will say 1, 2, and 3, right? And I will say 4, 5, and 6, right? And I will say 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so now I'm gonna run this. Now I'm gonna show you how to check a dimension, right? So if you want to check a dimension, you can say like data, right? Then you want to see a length, right? You say length, and let's go for LAN. Let's say 1, right? So when you go for LAN, right, and you say data, right, and you put a index over here 0, that is says 3, right? So when you say LAN, right, and you say data, then you put a double index over here like this, then just give a 3. That's basically your third dimension at the moment, right? So I'm gonna create a code now. So I'm gonna use this data over here on this top data. I will copy this again just to remove those confusion from our mind. So put the code, and I will run this right after. Oops, sorry. Yeah, after running this, then I will say even count. We're gonna count the even number, and we're gonna count the odd number, and uh, of course we can count a negative number. So what I can do, I can put some negative values just for creating the negative element inside our list, right? So even count equal to, let's say 0. Let's say odd count that's equal to 0. Let's say negative count that equal to 0, right? So after that, I'm going to use a for loop. I say for I in range, right? Basically range stand for the range, to identifying the range. So I can show you how to use the range. It's super easy. Like if you want to use a range, I will say like I can use a for loop, right? So let's say, just for example, right, for I in range, and I will say 5, right? I will say print I. So now you can see from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till the range of 5 is printed all the numbers, right? If I set the initial value 2, then it will start printing from 2, 3, 4, which lies between the 2 to 5. Those are our range, right? So I'm gonna use a range over here. So range, so that's how we using the range, just to define the range inside our data. Then I will say LAN, that basically define our LAN. Then data, then I will say for J in range, then I will say LAN, right? Then I will say data, and I'm going to use an iterator to iterate inside this. Then I will use I for first, right? So because basically what's happened is like first the I is iterating inside the data, and when we are using a J, basically we are iterating inside the I. I'm using the index for the I, right, with the help of J. So for K in range, right, I will say LAN, right, data. Oh, sorry, data. And you remember about the double index we have used last time. Similarly, I'm going to use I and J, right? Then I will say make a if and else statement. Like if I say if data, so I'm gonna make a condition over here, I and J and K, right? So if it is an even number, right, which basically the remainder is 0, and I say even count plus equal to 1. That will give us a 1 on each even number. So else I will say odd right, count plus equal to 1. And next we can say like if data, right, data that is basically I, j and k, which is less than let's say less than 0, right, less than 0. And it will give us a negative number, right? So we have some negative number, so you remember we have uh, put some negative element just to get this right. Okay guys, so our algorithm is ready, so I'm gonna press enter. Now we're gonna do even count, and okay, let me run from top of the code. There we go, even, and let's say odd count and say negative count, right? So you can see over here even is 4. Basically you can see the even number -2, 4, 6 and 8 that exactly give us 4, and the odd is 5 count, right? So let's say -1, 3 and 5, 7 and 9, that's exactly 5. And there is two negative number, that is like two negative number, right? -1 and -2, right? And we can also do like right, if data, right, I and j, I, j and k, right, is greater than 0, right, greater than 0, positive, right? So let's say positive count, right, and plus equal to 1. So we have to set a counter over here, positive count that is equal to 0. So I'm gonna run this code again, right? So now I'll open up the block over here and I will say positive count, that will give us a 7, right? Let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right guys, that's perfect. So we have used 3 iterator I, j and k just to iterate inside our data and to count all those values, right? So that's how this nested loop work. And hopefully guys you are having fun, and see you on next video on while loop. Cheers guys.